Sure enough, Zhao Hai hadn't been sitting for long when Green walked inside, bowing and saying, "Young master, I have put the family's matters in order. I will set off shortly." Zhao Hai nodded. "No need to rush, it's fine if you don't worry. I have those things here, nothing will happen. Even keeping them for 10 years wouldn't be a problem. After you leave, you have to find a big client, then sign a long-term contract with them. You must also remember that we will be breeding large amounts of blue-eyed rabbits, and this is also something that will go through them. If I guess correctly, after the shock of the magic radishes we have on hand, the market price will drop. This is something we have to be prepared for." Green nodded, and Zhao Hai indicated he sit to the side. "Grandpa Green, sit. I'm not comfortable having you stand like that. Sit, I still have a lot of things to tell you. Blockhead, go get Grandpa Green some breakfast, let him eat here today." Blockhead glanced at Green. Green nodded, and Blockhead then turned towards the kitchen, and Green also sat down. Zhao Hai didn't express any opinion about this. He was very clear about the character of the previous Adam. If not for Green always looking out for him before, Adam would have already died an unknown number of times, so he naturally wouldn't envy Green's authority now. After Green sat down, Zhao Hai continued, "Grandpa Green, I'm also aware of our current circumstances, therefore I hope you will remember, low-key, we have to stay low-key. We're in a place like this now. If we do something those grand nobles can't stand, then we're also finished. Consequently, we cannot let people know our relation to this deal." Green nodded, and Zhao Hai sighed. "Even if I don't know why those grand nobles would let my Buddha clan off, only sending us off to a place like this, but I know what we have is something they would definitely have misgivings about. If they wanted to deal with us, they would have to pay a very large price, but if we now let them learn that the Buddha clan might have a chance to rise again, then regardless of the cost, they would definitely destroy us. That's why we have to be low-key now. Even though talking about being low-key sounds cowardly, to let our Buddha clan continue until the day we can rise again, we can only keep low-key for now." Green's eyes reddened, standing and bowing to Zhao Hai. "Don't worry, young master, I will definitely handle this well." Zhao Hai nodded. "Don't be like this, Grandpa Green, sit down. You have to remember, the magic radishes are only the first step. For the next while I will experiment and see whether I can change the black soil outside into something that can be farmed. That would be even better. But we also need even more manpower, so you have to buy some more slaves through every channel you can. Regardless of race, as long as they're useful, as long as they have skills, buy them all. Anyway, most people wouldn't come over to look at us, but we still have to be careful." Green nodded. He discovered that the young master had changed. If it was the previous young master, then it would be impossible for him to think about this. The current change, to the Buddha clan, was definitely a good thing. Now Blockhead also returned to serve Green breakfast. Zhao Hai glanced at Green's plate. Very simple, making Zhao Hai shake his head, turning to Green. "Grandpa Green, after the magic radishes are sold, first buy some blue-eyed rabbits, second buy some long-tailed chickens, third buy some scaleless fish. The castle moat is empty right now, and it seemed to me that it was running water, suitable for raising fish. First, we won't care about making money, we have to improve our own standard of living. When you go, don't be afraid of how much magic radish they want. However much they want, we can supply. But I think a lot of people will be struck by us attacking the magic radish market like this, and they will definitely investigate. Therefore, no matter what, you absolutely cannot let them trace it back to us. Also, buy some books. Best is books related to flora and fauna on the continent. This will be of great use to us. Anyway, right now I can only think of these, you deal with the rest on your own. Oh, right, our current defensive strength is too little, you pay attention and buy some slaves with fighting strength if you can. But we'll do it bit by bit. The first goal is to improve our lives." Green ate and listened to Zhao Hai, remembering what Zhao Hai said. These matters were also of varying degrees of importance, but they were all things he was capable of handling. Before long, Green had finished eating and let Blockhead bring the tray to the kitchen. He stood and bowed to Zhao Hai. "Young master, I'm leaving. I won't be present for a few days. If there's anything, you make sure to speak to Marin. Young master, you must look after yourself well. You are the last hope of the Buda clan. If anything happens to you, I won't be able to face the late old master." Zhao Hai smiled slightly. "Don't worry, Grandpa Green. I know what to do. I also won't be as willful as before. Leave quickly and return soon, as long as everything is handled. Oh, right, transporting our magic radishes is a big problem. If I wait until after you've settled things and then deliver them personally, that would draw less attention. What do you say?" Green pondered. "Let's leave this matter for when I have made the arrangements. Don't worry, young master, I will take care of everything." Zhao Hai nodded, looking at Green, then suddenly bowed to him. "Grandpa Green, I thank you on behalf of the Buda clan. From today on, you are my family." Green's eyes reddened, but he accepted Zhao Hai's respect, facing upwards and laughing. "Old master, esteemed master, did you see? The young master has grown up, the young master is thoughtful, the Buda clan has hope. Even if I have to stake these old bones, I will make the Buda clan flourish." Answering Zhao Hai's salute, he turned and left. But now Green didn't have the air of a servant, but with heroic spirit soaring towards the sky, displaying the might of an 8th-level warrior. Zhao Hai looked at Green's departing back, smiling slightly, then turned and walked towards his own room. Zhao Hai knew that making other people accustomed to his changes would take some time. Right now his display was already very eye-catching. He should be a bit well-behaved. Anyway, matters of the house had already been settled by Green, and the remainder was for Marin and Meg to see to. No need for his involvement. Hed returned to his room and go take a look at the farm. There he could settle down and relax. But Blockhead and Rockhead, those two inflexible fellows, followed behind him like a pair of ghosts, following regardless of anything, thoroughly implementing Green's orders, leaving Zhao Hai helpless. Zhao Hai still didn't want to let Green and the others know too much about the spatial farm, but with Blockhead and Rockhead so inflexible, making them understand that might be impossible. Entering his room, Zhao Hai turned to speak to Blockhead and Rockhead. "Blockhead, Rockhead, you return to your rooms. I want to rest a while. There's nothing happening in the castle anyway, you don't need to worry." The two shook their heads simultaneously, saying nothing, and Zhao Hai impatiently said, "I will rest, you go help Grandma Marin." Head shake. "I'm going to rest, you can't always stand by my bedside. Go stand outside the door." Head shake. "I'm the young master, you two get out of here." Head shake. "Big brothers, see it is me begging you, give me a bit of space, be a bit charitable and go out." Zhao Hai looked at the two and really didn't have any means. He could only say, "Blockhead, Rockhead, I know you two were raised by my father from childhood, absolutely loyal to the Buda clan, but the place I'm about to go relates to the future development of the Buda clan. Therefore, it's best if you don't follow. If you do, you won't be able to keep up. So, in a moment, if I suddenly disappear, don't worry, and don't shout either, okay?" Zhao Hai just finished speaking when the two brothers reached out and grabbed the twin large swords on their backs, holding them across their necks with the look of, "If you don't let us follow, we will die." Zhao Hai facepalmed. Running into such inflexible people really gave him a frightening headache. But he could do nothing. Looking at Blockhead and Rockhead, he knew that if he really didn't let them follow him, they really could kill themselves. These were part of a small number of people absolutely loyal to the Buddha clan. How could he let them die? But if he brought them into the space, then they would also know the secrets of that space. Zhao Hai still really was a bit unwilling. But Zhao Hai still hadn't completely figured out the space yet, and the seeds had been planted when the sky still wasn't light, whereas now it was already bright, and he didn't know how they had grown. He wanted to go take a look. If the radishes were ripe, he could collect them. That was money. Most importantly was that Zhao Hai still wanted to take a look at whether he could bring the spatial water and soil outside. The spatial soil and water could transform land, and if he really could transform land, then perhaps the black soil outside could be made fertile, and that was what Zhao Hai needed the most right now. While Zhao Hai was weighing the pros and cons, Blockhead and Rockhead never put their swords down. The two were rigidly staring at Zhao Hai, afraid he would disappear. After a long while, Zhao Hai returned to his senses. Looking over the two, he smiled dryly. Fine, you follow as well. But what you see today, you absolutely can't speak of outside. If you do, you can at most only tell Grandpa Green, Grandma Marin, and Meg. Those three people. You can't tell anyone else. You can't even talk about it in your sleep. The two nodded simultaneously, but their swords didn't leave their hands.